What's going on, guys? So we finally got the MG-34, 50, 30, call it what you want, but this MG-34 replica is finally done. Stick around. What's up, guys? As I said, the MG-34 15 AR-34, call it what you want, it's finally finished, and I couldn't be happier with the way it turned out. I did hit some snags along the way that kind of really weren't planned. Some of the snags I hit along the way were little things like the barrel length not being long enough to actually protrude out the end. If I were to go with that, I would need somewhere around a 30-inch barrel, which would cause a lot of drop in velocity and really wouldn't have been worth it in the long run. So I wound up going with a 20-inch stainless steel fluted barrel, which comes to an end right about here. And then I added a 6-inch barrel extension onto the end, which brings it right to about here. It's just shy of the end of the muzzle, but it's still centered enough that that bullet is going to have no issue flying out the end. The 6-inch extension I put on there is not rifled in any way, and it has a larger bore diameter than the actual barrel, so the bullet should not in any way actually touch the sides of it. Even with the low profile gas block, it still wouldn't give me the ability to actually fit the barrel up and get it centered within the shroud. So I had to take one of these holes in the shroud and actually elongate it almost like an elliptical oval, just to give the gas block a little bit to be able to come up through it. That's one thing I hadn't really planned, and I was really trying to work around it and find a way to make it work, but unfortunately that's just kind of what I was left with. Due to the receiver being a little too short, I guess, for the AR, another thing I had to do, which you can kind of see here, is I had to mill a hole out just for the actual top of the AR. Now I did go through and kind of sand down those grooves for the Picatinny rail, just to give it a more sleek appearance. Got to be careful how much you take down, because you really don't want to take away the integrity of the rifle itself and end up having something explode on you. It took me a bunch of tries to be able to get the buffer tube to come out the back and actually fit up into the stock, but it is actually in there. The only thing I really have left is, as you can see, there's a little bit of wiggle in this. I do have to drill a hole and put a set screw just to hold this stock pointing straight. But for the time being, it works perfectly fine. I was really trying to keep the MG-34 grip as original as possible, so I wound up taking the AR lower and I cut it completely flat on the bottom, following the contour of the actual mag well, I guess you could say. So the only thing that was coming out the bottom was the trigger. All of this was completely flat along here. Then I wound up cutting the MG-34 trigger guard. You can see right here, if you look closely, it's not actually connected, but it is bolted in place and it's not going anywhere. That gave me the ability to have this angle of the original hand grip to kind of, again, give it the original look. It just looked a lot better than having a AR lower on it. Now, I don't actually have the pin in here. I took it out so that I can just show you guys easily. Pull up, and there's a little ear in the back that locks it in. And here you can see the original of the Picatinny rail, and here's the ground down part. Again, just to keep it completely flat. I hit that with a flap disc sander to get it flat, then filed it to get any high spots down, then used a 120 grit, 400 grit, 600 grit sandpaper just to get it completely smooth. And it turned out pretty good. I'm actually happy with that. You can see your little gas tube coming up through here. Again, missed a little bit on the paint there, so it's still showing as stainless, but not the end of the world. I did forget to add the charging handle to it, which I have, but forgot to put it on, which I should have thought that one through. The original Bear Creek Arsenal charging handle is almost a curvature that fits perfect to your finger. Just didn't really look great for the original, so I removed that, took the original long charging handle, milled out the bottom a little bit to allow it to slide better in that groove. And then I'm just gonna have to bolt it back on, and that'll really help maintain the original MG-34 look. So we'll go ahead and put this back on for now. In terms of the paint, this is just a Rust-Oleum black camouflage paint. I like this, it works out pretty well. It's pretty durable. You gotta do multiple coats. If you don't, it is susceptible to chipping pretty easily. Now, getting the barrel to actually sit centered within the shroud was a little tricky. I had to take a piece of what wound up being an aluminum tubing, drilled 2 holes, tapped the holes, so that now I have threads in it. So I put the 2 screws through the top into the 2 holes in the aluminum, which kind of gave it a perfect circle to feed the barrel up through, which keeps it pointing straight. Now, because this is a replica, these sights don't actually adjust, which, although kind of annoying, it's not really the end of the world. Just means if your shots are off, they're gonna be off and you gotta adjust. One other option I do have is just fold these bad boys down and put the spiderweb anti-aircraft sight on the front and just make it a point and shoot, try to have fun with it. Even with the sights not being adjustable, it still turned out really cool. It's heavy as all hell, which I don't know why I didn't expect that, because the original one was, but it's not original, so I don't know. Everybody I've showed it to still thinks it's freaking awesome. I can't agree more. I do have an MG-42 actually on the way that I've already started tearing into, so hopefully I can get around to that. Yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. This one wasn't a long one. I've been working on this for a few months now, on and off. I got other projects I'm cycling in and out on top of managing work with work. But the most important thing is just have fun while you're doing it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to click the like and subscribe button. Feel free to comment down below with any questions you may have. And as always, until next time, stay safe.